Hi, hello, vanakkam and welcome to Sound the Talks. In today's video, we are going to see a short summary of Rich Dad Poor Dad written by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki has two influential fathers in his life. One is the rich dad and other is the poor dad. The poor dad is the biological father of Robert Kiyosaki. The poor dad is highly educated and very intelligent person. He believes that studying hard and getting good grades and a well-paid job can make you financially independent. Despite having all these positive attributes in his life, he still remains poor. On the other hand, if you see the rich dad, he is the father of Robert Kiyosaki's best friend. He is an 8th grade dropout but still a millionaire. Rather than studying and getting good grades, he started to understand how money works and how he can make money work for him. So this is what makes the difference between the rich dad and also the poor dad. The whole book is written in the author's perspective of how rich dad had made money and also the mistakes made by the poor dad. There are 6 important lessons told in this book which contains more than 2/3 of the book. Let's jump in. Chapter 1. Often people misunderstand the title of this chapter. The rich don't work for money. People think that the rich don't work, but that is wrong. The author asks us to give emphasis on the word money. The rich don't work for money. If you see that, the rich really work hard, but they don't work hard in order to get money. They work hard to understand how they can make money work for them. Kiyosaki also states that most of the people go to a regular job for getting a short-term solution for a long-term problem like financial independence and wealth. A lot of people continue going to a regular job because they have fear of not paying their bills, fear of not having enough money, fear of getting fired, and also fear of starting over. Most people become slave to money and shout at their boss. In chapter 2, the author talks about financial literacy. He talks about an asset and a liability. If you see what is an asset, it is something that can continuously generate revenue even after you have bought it. If you think your personal residence is an asset, you are totally wrong because you still have a cost of ownership for your personal residence. On the other hand, if you see a rental property, this can become an asset because you continuously generate some amount of passive income from your rental property. The author concludes by saying, want to become rich? Then make sure you're buying a lot of income generating assets and you're cutting down on all your expenses and liabilities. This can make your asset column grow bigger. In the 3rd chapter, the author asks us to pay off all our debts as soon as possible and to invest in a lot of income producing assets. There is a favorite quote for me from this chapter. The primary reason the majority of the poor and middle class family are fiscally conservative is that they have no financial foundation and they have to cling to their jobs and play it safe. They cannot afford to take risk. In chapter 4, the author talks about business owners and employees. If you see business owners, they earn, they spend money and only then they pay their taxes. On the other hand, if you see employees, they earn, they pay their taxes and only then they spend their money. The author tells us to take a deep look into legal and financial advantages in order to create a long-term wealth. He is also talking about 4 important laws which he terms them as financial IQ. I request all of you to buy the book from the description to understand it better. In chapter 5, the author talks about investment packages and professional investors. Investment packages are bought by people from fund managers. These fund managers will tell you what stocks to buy, what shares to buy, and what venture you want to invest in. On the other hand, if you see these professional investors, they have a deep understanding of the subject of investing. If any investing opportunity comes their way, they sit down, they look deeply into the opportunity, they research on the opportunity, and only if it makes sense, they invest in the opportunity. The author advises all of us to become professional investors. One of the favorite closing thoughts from this lesson for me is, some people argue that there aren't real estate bargains where they are, but there are prime opportunities everywhere that are overlooked. Most people aren't trained financially to recognize the opportunities in front of them. In chapter 6, the author talks about skills needed for success in business. 1 is cash flow management, 2nd one is systems management, and 3rd is people management. In chapter 7, the author talks about the primary difference between a rich person and a poor person. It is on how they manage fear. The fear that I am talking about is not the fear that you get when you go to a dentist office or when you watch the Exorcist movie. But this fear is considered as one of the highest or the biggest obstacle that you can face on earth. The author urges us to come out of your fear so that we can get plentiful amount of cash flow. In chapter 8, the author tells us that there is gold everywhere. Just that most of us are not trained to see it. So take action on all your finances, plan all your finances and get wealthy. Thank you for watching Sound Talks. Next week we'll be having a review of the book Ikigai. Stay tuned. If you like these types of contents, don't forget to subscribe to Sound Talks. Like this video, share this video, and let's spread the art of reading.